So I chose to look into gamification in the classroom for my presentation. Okay, it's not working. All right, so the difference between gamification and game-based learning. Game-based learning is where you take core content and objectives, turn them into a game, make them fun. This fully integrates mechanics with training content, and the game itself is the training. So you're almost using games to teach the content. Whereas gamification, that's where you take different aspects of games and like that competitive aspect and create incentives to help engage students in learning. So, two issues that I found within my research, administrators and principals are worried that teachers are going to be using games or gamified lessons as an alternative to in depth instruction rather than using it as an aid to help encourage um, engagement. And then the second issue that I ran into was gamification being used as a tool instead of a solution. So handing technology to kids and then using that as their instruction instead of using those gaming methods to help reach educational goals. For the trends, we have an acceleration in adoption with an increase in mobile learning and micro learning. This came out of, you know, e-learning and virtual learning during COVID. Um, we saw an increase in teachers using different elements of games to help practice and reinforce content. And then we also see a wider range of application areas, such as e learning courses being made a little bit more interesting using gamification techniques like the leaderboard, things like Kahoot, and then the fully gamified approaches that address different kinds of training needs like formal and informal assessment, collaboration, and then different sort of supports that students might need in the classroom. Then for our integration methods, two different things that I have personally used and have read a lot about adapting old school games such as Jenga, bingo, Scrabble, all sorts of different things where you can take the content but then turn it into a game. And then we have a rise in digital games such as Kahoot, Quizzes, Quizlet, and then a couple that I am not as familiar with, Gimkit, Blookit, and Breakout EDU. So at the top, we have a couple of my favorites right here. We've got Quizzes, Kahoot, and Quizlet, all of which I use on a regular basis. My high school students absolutely love Kahoot because they love to see their name on the leaderboard and then brag that they're the smartest in the class. And then Blookit, I saw it used more in like the middle school range, age range. Those kids love it as well. There's a lot of different games that you can play within Blookit. And then Gimkit was one that I wasn't as familiar with, but would love to research a little bit more. So, in summary, gamification is the fastest way to get our students engaged in learning. They love to be competitive, so we should use that to our advantage. Using gamification as a tool and not simply a solution, we still need to be teaching the content and then just add a little fun to it. It's a great assessment tool to see what your kids know and what they're still struggling with. And then we also talked about old school versus new school games, recycling old games that we found fun as kids, and then bringing a little educational twist to them. And then here are my references as well. So that is everything. Thank you for watching.